9 years ago, I played The Walking Dead Survival Instinct on the Wii U. Now, the reason I played this game was because a friend in high school was like, oh, let's play the worst games imaginable. Ari never lived up to his bet and played Ride to Hell Retribution, but I lived up to mine and played Walking Dead Survival Instinct, specifically on the Wii U. I could not fathom a worse Walking Dead game than Survival Instinct on the Wii U. Well, Destinies might not only be just the worst Walking Dead game, but the worst game I have ever played in my 26 years existing on this planet. Now, let me play some footage from 14-year-old me playing Survival Instinct. Yeah, I looked like this at the time. I know I haven't really aged, but humor me, and let's go on this journey before we get into the worst Walking Dead game, let alone the worst game I have ever played in my life. Wow. Alright, I'm gonna die. Yep. Yep. Just send 50 million zombies at me, thank you. I have to get headshots. And the aiming in this game is terrible, so yeah, I suck at shooting games, so that's another plus. This game is my nightmare. So it should be called Walking Dead Survival Instinct. It should be called Walking Nightmare. Never play it. So GameMill Entertainment is behind this masterclass of a game. They're also known for such quality titles as Street Outlaws, Nerf Legends, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, and numerous other licenses that they have ruined with their terrible games. Recently, you may know them from that Kong game, and then that Avatar game that's on Steam, that's $50. Maybe I'll play that one. If you want to see me play that, you can fund these terrible choices with my Ko-fi link or join my members. It's only $1. So honestly, it's no surprise that this game was terrible. But this is a whole new caliber of terrible, even for GameMill. Usually they make mediocre games like 4 or 5 out of 10s. This doesn't even come close to a 4. It doesn't even come close to a 2. But, you know what? Let's actually talk about the game. What's the premise of Walking Dead Destinies? This game was touted to be a cool choose-your-own-destiny type of game, hence the name Walking Dead Destinies. You can rewrite history with choices such as having Shane kill Rick and becoming the leader of the group. However, instead of Telltale quality gameplay and choices that somewhat matter, we got mind-numbing gameplay and only about a handful of Destiny-defining choices. This would be fine if the game was short, but no, this game is a skull-bashing 6 hours long. Now you're probably thinking to yourself, that's not that long of a game, Juby. Do you know how long Starfield is? That's like 1 billion hours. How about Red Dead 2? That's like 100 hours. So 6? That's nothing. I'll be completely honest with you. I would much rather have a merciful 3-hour experience over a 6-hour slogfest. What would you rather have? 3 hours of mind-numbing torture? Or 6 hours of bashing your head against a wall with no mercy in sight? So this game retells the first 3-ish seasons of AMC's The Walking Dead. I'm referring more to the TV show than the comics. The game starts off with Rick in the hospital and ends with the governor trying to take over the prison. There's 5 acts separated into 23 episodes. These episodes vary in length from 5 minutes to about 25 to 30 minutes. It's a pretty abridged retelling of the show with some story changes here and there. For example, at the high school Shane takes Beth or Maggie, this choice is determined by the player when they solve a conflict between Beth and Maggie on who gets to go with Shane. And then you'll be faced with the choice of choosing to save one of the Green sisters or choosing the medical supplies to save Carl because he got shot. Whoever you choose to save, the other dies, which does not happen in the show and just forces a terrible choice. The choices don't have much of a change as you'd think. Choosing Shane to lead the group over Rick still leads them eventually to the prison and eventually fighting the governor. In my playthrough, the governor ended up being T-Dog over Philip because I left T-Dog on the roof instead of Meryl. So you're still fighting the governor no matter what choice you make. So the fight is still the same, it's just a different coat of paint. So it's not that deep of a choice. Telltale has some choices that don't matter in retrospect, but the experience still felt like your own personal journey with very deeply weighted choices. Now, you could call my Telltale fan bias on this one, but you can't deny that the choices actually felt like they mattered in some situations. In this game, it feels like it really does not matter. With Destinies, it feels like the same story, but you're just plugging in different characters for different scenarios. A lot of the choices come down to who do you want to live. Nothing really deeper than that, like in a Telltale game. It's situations like Rick or Shane, Carl or Beth or Maggie, T-Dog or Meryl, Michonne or Glenn. So I would say that the game isn't even worth exploring these other realities because there is so little story impact in the long run. You can't even enjoy the cutscenes because they are literally still images. And numerous times the audio bugged out during these cutscenes or during the game in general. But I will discuss this more in bugs and glitches. You're probably like, back up. The cutscenes are just still images? Yeah, it's a slideshow. They could not even program cutscenes. Except towards the end of the game, where there's like, they attempted a cutscene, but it got so bugged and lagged on the Switch version, it wasn't even viewable. I was astounded. I thought maybe my Switch was crashing. No. That's just how it was. Because it happened to me twice because my game crashed after it. I doubt all versions do this, but the fact that the Switch version is this goddamn bad. Now moving on to gameplay. The gameplay is the absolute worst part of this experience. Combat comes down to melee weapons such as a bat, crowbar, axe, sledgehammer, etc., using your knife to finish off enemies, and guns. Oh boy, the guns. How on earth you make guns the weakest weapon in your video game is beyond me, but GameMill achieved it. The Walking Dead Destinies is 6 hours of light or heavy attacking a zombie just one time. You only need to hit him once, and then finishing him off with the knife. And doing that over and over and over and over and over again. There's a little point in doing anything else because it just wastes time. Even the adrenaline attacks. I had no idea what these adrenaline attacks were. I thought my character was just having a heart attack and it was just gonna deplete my health. No, these are special attacks you gain from killing enough zombies. They're one-shot kills sometimes they're not, if they have armor. Yeah, some of the zombies have armor, so if they have that, then it's not a one-shot. But these adrenaline attacks, literally, you just press a different button. Instead of Y, you press X. And it just takes longer. Because they'll use their melee weapon and be like, go to hell! All of them say this. There is no variety in voice lines. I saw that some of the characters were in the credits, like the people that played the characters were in the credits. So I don't know if that's true or if they took voice lines from the TV show. Anyway, back to gameplay. These adrenaline attacks are not worth it. It just takes more time. So I just ignored them most of the time. Because you're gonna get the same result from just a knife kill, but it's faster to do it with the knife. The melee weapons barely feel any different from each other. The only noticeable difference was the sledgehammer, which is slower. Like I said, every melee weapon is one-hit light or heavy attack, and you can knife them. So it doesn't even matter to have a more powerful weapon. If you have a slow weapon that has the same power, what's the point of even having the sledgehammer? Just get a crowbar or an axe, and it's the same. I got super excited when I finally got a gun. I think you get your gun around like the 4th or 5th episode. Not that long into the game, maybe like 30 to 45 minutes into the game. Only for it to be the weakest and slowest way to kill a zombie. The Walking Dead Destinies has character-specific skill trees for each character, like Rick, Shane, all of them have their own skill tree. And you can unlock any of these skills using skill points you find, but if a character dies before you unlock their set of skills, you can no longer unlock those skills later on in the game. You can still use those skills if you already unlocked them, like let's say you killed Rick, but you can still use his skills later on in the game. You just can't unlock any more of Rick's skills. Now, this is kind of a unique concept until you realize most of the skills are the same. It's, oh, increase crowbar damage, increase bat damage, etc. There's some about stamina and crawling and detecting, which kind of come in useful towards the end of the game, so I do recommend upgrading those. The reason I mention this now is by the time that you get your first taste of gun gameplay, you have most likely upgraded the bat or any of the other melee weapons, so the gun automatically feels weaker. The biggest grievance I have in this game is the inconsistent damage of the guns. I understand if you wanted realism where body shots barely do any damage to zombies, but why are headshots sometimes one shot kill and other times 5 or more shots? This is the most frustrating aspect to guns. Why shoot 100 times when you can melee once and then use the knife to finish it off? It makes no sense. You'll encounter different types of zombies in the game. You have normal zombies, the big bullet sponge types. They don't puke out any like bile or anything, so they're just literally bullet sponges. Blood-eyed, which if they grab you, you take more damage. And you have screamers, which can alert the horde if they see you. And then you have explosive zombies, where if you melee them, they will explode. You can shoot them, so you don't take any damage. In one section, I fought 2 of these big bullet sponge ones at a time. Hundreds of bullets, and literally 10 minutes of fighting later, they finally died. Meanwhile, in other sections, they were much easier. There is no variation of gameplay. It's just 6 hours of killing enemies in pretty empty environments, over and over again. Now you're probably thinking, oh, maybe it's just a fun gameplay loop. No, there's no fun to be had. There's no like comboing that makes it any more fun. No, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. It advertises that you can play stealthily or play loud, but honestly, the best way is either to just run through all the zombies if you can. You're gonna get screwed if you have to climb over something though, because you have to hold down a button to climb. Not just tap a button, no, you have to hold, so if you get interrupted, it's it. That's it. That is it. You're gonna get chased down by the horde and die. Or do what I did and just individually take them out and then clear through their level. I knew when I bought the Switch version it would look especially bad compared to other versions of the game, but barely PS2 quality is unacceptable. And my girlfriend pointed out, oh, it kind of looks like San Andreas. Except she was wrong, San Andreas looks better than this game, and that was on the PS2. The Switch is capable of decent graphics. At times, the cutscenes would drop to 144p. How does that happen? This game is just visually ugly and not pleasing to look at. Sometimes the game looks smothered in Vaseline. There's a film grain setting that goes from like high, low to off, and it looks no different going through any of the settings. The characters look like Madame Tussauds rejected wax statues at the museum. All of them look so ugly. And the frames, if there are too many zombies on the screen, good luck. My game dropped to about like 4 or 5 frames a second if there was more than 10 zombies on the screen. And zombies would just pop in out of nowhere. It's like, oops, we forgot to load them in, so here they are just popping in now. You've seen how ugly this game looks probably on PS5, but have you truly seen how ugly it can be on the Switch? Now you're probably saying, Juby, you could have bought it on the PS5 and then it would have looked better. I wanted the full, terrible, shit turd experience, so that's why I bought it on the Switch. Did I mention this game is $50? $50 for this experience. Alright, let's get on to bugs and glitches. Speaking of bugs and glitches, oh boy is this game filled with them. Now, I can't confirm how buggy and glitchy the other versions of this game are. I've only played the Switch version, and it was full of them. Between multiple chapters just straight up having no audio other than the music, and the music is just the opening theme looped constantly for most of the game. I'm surprised I didn't get like a copyright strike on any of my streams or videos on this game. And then I had one glitch that I discovered where I got so fed up with the rumble, because every time you shoot the gun, the Switch Joy-Cons rumble. I got so fed up that I was like, alright, let me just turn vibration off.
Oh, now the gun doesn't
Little did I know, turning vibration off turned off the rest of the sounds in the game, and it was not fixed until I reloaded the chapter. What a quality experience, am I right? How does that happen? How does turning off vibration turn off the sounds? I want to know. Any of y'all coders and programmers, let me know how that happened. I also had an occurrence of completely restarting an episode after I died, even though I reached a checkpoint. Don't know how this happened, but There's no lives at the bottom of the screen where it's like, oh, if you die 3 times, you gotta start back. No. I got to a checkpoint and then I died like 3 times. I was like, get back to the beginning, homie. I was like, what? Okay. The controls just straight up sometimes did not work. I'd press stomp and it wouldn't do anything. I would just get attacked. Sometimes the knife wouldn't work. My wired controller that I had plugged into the Switch straight up died on me and disconnected when I was playing this game and would not reconnect. And then the game immediately crashed after this. I only had the one crash, but enemies are buggy. They don't know what to do. They don't have any stealth detection. They're like programmed to spin constantly, like a Vinesauce spin meme. Just don't play this game. Has this video not said enough yet? No? Okay, let's go into miscellaneous stuff. Some other things I want to touch on. Carl died in my playthrough, but Rick still said his children would call Shane daddy. He could have meant Judith, but he said children plural, so... And then Carl was in this, like, montage when you're fighting the Rick and Shane fight. Like, there's just overlays of all the characters. And Carl was already dead, so don't know why he was included. I thought this was just weird and lazy not to make a version of this where they just negated having Carl in it. But no, of course not. Why would we do that? In the prison section, when you go to the outside of the prison, I could not find Cell C. After you, like, fight these zombies in the courtyard, you have to go to Cell C. The Switch version did not have on the side of the building Cell C written out. I checked the PS5 version from someone's playthrough. It's written in clear lettering on the side of the building. The Switch version does not have it. So I was running in circles like an idiot because I couldn't find it. And there's no, like, waypoint system that really helps. It just tells you an objective. Then levels just constantly get recycled, especially if you have to go to a store. It is the same warehouse, Costco looking ass place. Just a massive warehouse and then empty shelves. You're gonna get that like 4 or 5 times in this game. And you're like, are you kidding? You couldn't have made anything a little bit different? No. Then there's just a walking section of touring Woodbury that's completely unnecessary, and it's a whole episode. When I said the 5 to 25 minutes, that's the 5 minutes. It's literally just Michonne touring Woodbury with the governor and being like, oh, this is where this is where that is. Okay, end of episode. This is the only section of this game like this, so was this padding to make it even longer? Why do this? The game also gave me numerous headaches while playing it. I don't know what it was due to, but I got physically ill after both sessions of my stream. I felt like I had a blazing migraine after playing this game. If this video hasn't convinced you enough, here's my final thoughts. Do not buy this game. Do not waste $50 on this. If I had to put a numerical value, $1 maximum. You could literally spend that on anything else. Food, groceries, your rent, donate it to a charity. Probably gonna do a charity stream later this month or early next month, so feel free to follow me on Twitch to donate to that when I do that. It'll do more good that way. Obviously, this game is a 0 out of 10. If you could go lower, by all means, a negative 100 out of 10. This is the worst game I have ever played. Play Telltale's The Walking Dead if you haven't already. It's the best Walking Dead game. And despite seasons 2 and 3 being weak, I think it's still a fun experience. In fact, I played the first episode completely blindfolded. Now, harass me in the comments to do episode 2 blindfolded. I still haven't done that yet. Oopsie. I bet any of you can make a better game in RPG Maker or Unity or any software. Hell, I will play those games if you make any of them. Just at me on Twitter, be like, here you go, Juby, I made a better game. Don't actually make garbage and send it to me, though. I play enough garbage as is. I inspire you to make your own version of this game, but better. Alright, that's enough talking from me. Do not buy this game. If you want to see more videos about games, I do them all the time here on this channel. I also like anime, so I make videos about that. If you want to see those, hit that subscribe button. If you did like this video, feel free to give it a like. And if you have any friends that are trying to justify buying this game, send this video to them right now. They need help. And this video will hopefully cure them. Thank you for watching. I will see you for the next video.